Hey ETC, it's your new live reporter Hiba Bary here today at the E-News panel. So if you love your celebrity gossip, entertainment news, and pop culture, this is the panel for you. Today we have interviews with 3 panelists along with Rhelin Taylor. Keep watching.
I'm here with the lovely Kendall Fischer, who is the writer for E! News and E! Online. Now, I heard that you love working in a high-energy, fast-paced environment. Tell me, what are the skills needed to succeed in that type of environment?
I would say your biggest skill, no matter what, is just to be able to take a step back and breathe. Because I think with news in general, a lot of people... we all get worked up, especially if it's breaking news or if it's something, really big, like a baby's born or something like that. And yes, like it's big for us and it's a big deal, but it's not brain surgery. And so one thing that I learned, now I've been a writer for, 5 years, I would say being able to take a step back and take a breath and realize, okay, you can do this. And then I think the other... with news in general and the way that, how news is with online platforms and social media and Twitter and all of that, you got to be quick on your feet. You have to be a fast thinker and you have to be able to be creative enough to not only come up with a great headline and write the content, but also to be able to do it at a fast pace because you're keeping up with everybody else.
Yeah, speaking of your skills as a writer, what do you think you have that makes people want to read your stories, or what you find makes your stories interesting?
My strongest quality as a writer is hands down my headlines. As any digital platform whatsoever, you have to be able to get a reader to want to click. My favorite thing about writing, especially for digital, is coming up with the headlines, because you can write the full story, but no one's going to read that story unless you have a good headline and a good lead-in. Can
you tell me a headline that you just did recently that you are in love with?
Let's think. So there was this is very weird, but, and not usual, but there was a story that was going viral over, Nicole Richie, and she made a replica of her own house in, I believe, Beverly Hills for her chickens to live in. And yes, at this point, I want to say,
the dog
right? Nicole Richie's a chicken lady. She's a chicken mom, if you will.
Oh, wow.
And she has, I think now they've gone up to 5, maybe it's 8 chickens. They started with 5, now they have 8 chickens.
Wow.
So she made a replica of her house, and everybody's writing it like, Nicole Richie makes a replica of her house for her chickens, and I was like, wait a sec, and my headline ended up being. I think it was 6 reasons we want to move into Nicole Richie's chicken coop. And so, and it actually did well. I never thought that story would ever want to be read, but it actually did well, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So great headlines and how to work in such a fast-paced industry. More tips from Kendall Fischer at ETC's E!News very first ever panel. I'm here with Francesca Lauren. Now, Francesca, you are the associate producer for E!News, or production assistant, right? Production assistant, I'm sorry. Production assistant for Goals, okay? So I know you're responsible for getting the show running. Tell me a little bit about the brainstorm process to, get some of these stories aired.
So I'm a production assistant for production management. So we are more behind the scenes. So we work with the creative just to get our shoots happening. So we work with the crews, with the hair and makeup, with the locations, just to be able to interview amazing people and make the show happen.
And what is that like? Are you guys moving all around when it's about to start?
Yes, it's always fast-paced. Every day is different. I'm just thrown things constantly. Sometimes I have to stop and really, realize what's the most important, what's tomorrow. I literally got a location at 4:30 for tomorrow's interview at 12. So it's exciting and it's different and it's so fun and it's exciting to see behind the scenes, especially for me because I've done the creative and I also want to do creative eventually. So to see it all come full circle is really amazing.
That is amazing. And what's even more amazing is that you are CSUF alumni. So tell me a little bit about what you learned here that has helped you with your career.
So I'm graduating in 2 weeks.
Oh, so am I. So yay.
So that's really exciting to be able to be in the industry that, I've loved so much. And I've interned with E! For most of my college experience. So I can, it's not, if it wasn't for Cal State Fullerton, I wouldn't be where I am. And I've learned so much. We have one of the best broadcast journalism, departments in the Southern California area. So I've learned so much, made so many amazing connections, and I love this place. So,
And how did you get these connections? Did you were you part of any clubs on campus?
so I started working with EU when I was, it was my sophomore year summer. So I didn't really have a lot of connections at school yet. I was a part of Titan Radio. I believe it was, I don't think I was a part of any really clubs. I kind of knew what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. So I used LinkedIn. That's my biggest tip.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I made my connections.
That's great. Yeah, I have a friend over here who loves LinkedIn, so
LinkedIn is
much.
life,
Okay, LinkedIn is life.
LinkedIn is life.
Well, thank you so much for coming. Francesca Lauren, she's going to be giving you guys great tips at our e-news panel. And like I said, thanks for coming.
Thanks.
I'm here with Evan Berg, who's an associate producer at E! News. Now, Evan, I see that you were a kinesiology major at Temple University. So what was that transition like into entertainment news?
Well, I was going to school in Philadelphia at Temple University, studying sport and exercise science, minor in psychology, and I always knew that I wanted to work in entertainment, but I didn't know in what capacity. I just had no idea what it was like working in TV or film or radio or anything like that. So I moved out to Los Angeles, took a job coaching gymnastics, and didn't really have any experience. Met somebody who needed somebody to haul equipment around part-time, so I worked on a radio show that specialized in Hollywood entertainment news that broadcast in Australia, and so I would haul their equipment around. I learned to use a video camera, and I would tape their interviews, go to red carpets for them and tape their red carpets, and eventually just kept taking on more and more responsibilities, and then ended up with a minor skill set and networked as much as I could, and ended up at E! After I met the right people.
Wow, that's amazing. And now being an associate producer, your roles include writing and producing packages. So where do those ideas usually come from?
They're either, you'll see like a theme that's happening in, say, one of your top stories, or you'll think of like a celebrity that is really like big in the news at the point, and you'll try to do something based off of that. Or sometimes like I'll go into work, I won't have an idea, but our senior producers or somebody will have an idea, and they're like, okay, this is your assignment for the day, write about this. Or then sometimes we'll have like a shoot, like a junket for a movie or a red carpet, or we'll do like a random interview with a random celebrity, and they'll say, just cut a package on this.
Okay. And now this being an entertainment news themed panel, what are some entertainment news stories that you've been following recently?
Let's see. A lot of the stuff that I work on is kind of not made up stuff, but it's not like breaking news. It's not like a lot of stuff. It's like, for example, last week I wrote a piece on Reese Witherspoon, and it was just something we noticed because of her show Big Little Lies, and she's really close with Nicole Kidman, who's like co-executive producer on it, and she just filmed a movie with Oprah, and we're like, wow, she's like best friends with everybody she co-stars with.
Exactly.
And so that ended up becoming a segment. And so I wrote a segment on how Reese Witherspoon is everybody's best friend.
Right.
And so you kind of have like just these things that'll pop up, and you'll write about it. But then sometimes you're thrown a curveball on big breaking news days, like when the Chris Soules accident happened where he accidentally killed his neighbor.
Right.
And so that was kind of a breaking news day, and one of the pieces got pushed off onto me, so I had to write about Chris Soules and the entire accident. And it's one of those things where it doesn't happen all the time, but you have to be open to news changing, because it's like sometimes big things happen.
So always got to be on your toes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So Evan, thank you so much for being here today. And again, this is Evan Berg, who's an associate producer for E! News. I hope you guys all had an amazing time at today's E! News panel. I know I did for sure. And it's so important that students come out to events like this, because you never know where these connections can take you in the future of your career. And also, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be the new live reporter. I hope to see you guys all next year. Have a safe and amazing summer. This has been Hiba Bary as your ETC live reporter.